Welcome to Salon Talks. I'm D. Watkins, and today I'll be joined by award-winning actor Alison Brie. You know her from shows like Mad Men, Community, and Glow, and movies like Promising Young Woman, Spin Me Round, and Somebody I Used to Know. Today we'll be talking about her new Peacock show, Apples Never Fall. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Congratulations on the new show. You have like extra anxiety when something new is about to come out, or?
Sometimes, I think it's probably different with every job, and probably the older I get and the more I work, the stakes lessen. Does that make sense? Maybe I'm wrong about that. I guess it just depends job to job.
An actor recently said he feels like every role is his last.
Yeah, I guess we all feel that way. Yeah, when you put it that way,
But this is great.
That's exactly what I'm thinking all the time. But I don't know. I don't feel as nervous about this one. Maybe because it's like a true ensemble show. So there's safety in numbers, there's strength in that, you know what I mean? It doesn't totally feel like I'm out on a limb by myself. I have a really great cast that I got to work with.
No, and the cast is so great. We'll get into that. But first, I think you should just take our viewers into the world of Apple Never Falls.
Sure. So Apples Never Fall is based on a book by Liane Moriarty, and she wrote books like Big Little Lies and 9 Perfect Strangers, which have also been made into shows.
If she writes a book, it's going to turn into a show.
She's honestly, I have read like 8 of her books. I love her books. It's true. I'm like, what could I adapt next? So this book is about the Delaney family. They're a tennis family. They own a tennis academy. The parents, played by Annette Bening and Sam Neill, are just going into retirement. They have 4 adult children, played by myself and Jake Lacey and Essie Randalls and Connor Merrigan Turner, a couple very talented newcomers. And basically, mom goes missing. After, I'm like trying to remember all the things that come into play. It's a stranger comes into the family's life, and then mom goes missing, and it really fractures the family in a lot of ways in terms of trying to figure out what happened to mom and who's responsible.
And you play Amy Delaney.
I play Amy Delaney, the eldest Delaney child.
Take us into Amy's world.
Amy is a really fun character to play. She is a bit spiritual and a bit go with the flow, but she's also highly emotional and can be a bit of a catastrophizer and is a bit of a hot mess, doesn't have her life together. Even though she's the oldest of the siblings, she lives in a house with graduate students. She doesn't have a real job, And I think that aspect of her really is her rebellion against the Delaney family, right? Mm-hmm. Growing up in this really competitive tennis family, they were totally result-oriented. So kind of like the biggest step away she could take from the family is to not plan her life, is to have no goals at all. But it was a really fun character to play. It's so different from the type A characters that I'm often known for playing. I think she couldn't be further from type A. She's like a total mess, and her room's a mess, her life's a mess. And actually over the course of the series, you kind of watch her get it together a little bit. Like she is able to sort of assume her role, kind of taking care of her younger siblings a little bit through this moment of crisis.
So how do you approach Amy? Do you spend extra time with the book, or do you how do you get into the character? Because I felt like she's someone that I've met before. Like I felt very comfortable.
Thank you.
It was very entertaining. So the show it's a great show. You guys should definitely watch it. But
Thank you.
I want to know how do you meet Amy, or how do you approach her?
Well, it's interesting because even though I had read so many of Liane's books before, I hadn't read Apples when I was sent the series. Mm-hmm. So I got to read the first 3 scripts. So my introduction to Amy was through the scripts for the show. And I just felt like I knew her immediately, I think. It made me very excited. There's certainly aspects of her that I connected with on a personal level, like that I feel like are parts of me that people don't know about because I haven't played characters that are like that, even though I'm not as much of a mess as her. But she's such an interesting character because I actually think there's like a real quiet confidence to her, even though everyone thinks she's like totally chaotic. And I don't know if she just reminded me of people that I had met. Like, I feel like I hooked into her immediately. And then always for me, hair, makeup, wardrobe, that stuff, like, really locks it in. The team on this show were so collaborative, and it was really fun to have those conversations.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, because, you know, if it's like a really great show, then, like, you know, one star who everyone has been watching for the last, 20 years gets all the credit. And if the show's terrible, they get the credit too. I guess that's the trade-off. But it takes so many people to make a show.
So many people. And the detail to those conversations is exquisite. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking about the placement of tattoos on my body. What are those tattoos gonna look like? What are the designs? Like, that's a full collaboration with our makeup artists who designed the tattoos that I wore themselves. And then we're talking about, what is she trying to hide about herself? What is she trying to show off about herself? You know, like, what are the things, why do we think she got these tattoos? It's something, ultimately, when you're watching the show, the tattoos are incidental. You're not going to be thinking about them all the time, but it's something that, like, really helped me have a deep connection to the character, and something that we really got to work on in a really nuanced way.
This lineup, the lineup is sick, and I'm glad you talked about everyone else who's playing in the film, because it's in the television show, because it's great.
Totally. Well, honestly, this one was like reverse engineered in that way, because by the time I signed on, Annette Bening and Sam Neill were already attached to the project, and I'm such big fans of both of them.
The elder Delaneys. The Delaneys look like, you know, from the outside looking in, they seem like such a perfect family, and
Exactly.
we know that families, there's no such thing as a perfect. Every family is dysfunctional, and I think a dysfunctional president has said that before, but I'm slipping. They're all dysfunctional, but you know, the recent another topic for another time. What do you think this show says about family, and just the pressures that people have to come off as these perfect families?
Yeah, well, I think you're right about that no family is perfect. And I think something that's really relatable about the show is that everybody has like a veneer that they want to show to the public world, and then the truth that's going on behind closed doors. And like, family dynamics can be the same, right? You're gonna get dressed up to go to church, you know, but like, what's going on at home? What's the mess that like people aren't seeing that you guys are hiding? And also, I think this idea of family dynamics and the roles that we play in our family. Like, I don't know about you, I have an older sister, I'm the baby, like, and I just will forever be the baby of the family. There's no world in which I would accept more responsibility than my sister for anything. It's like, and also if anything bad happens, I'll just like call my sister and be like, what do I do? You know, it's like, I think the show is highlighting how in moments of crisis, rather than a family coming together more than ever, you know, often people just fall into their roles like in a more firm way.
Right.
And especially in this show, there's a lot with like inter-family dynamics and alliances. You know, there's a real bond between the older two siblings and the younger two siblings, and you know, birth order, I think, plays a lot into like the way that you're raised, the way your parents treat you, the way that you think about your parents, and also the way that we think about our parents as we become adults. You know, it's like when you're a kid, maybe they're your heroes or you're terrified of them or whatever it is, and then you get a little older and you're like, they're just people.
It's a U-curve, right?
They're
It's
just
like
people.
they're the greatest people in the world, and then you get a little older and you're like, damn, they were fucked up. And then you get a little older and you're like, oh wait, I'm fucked up.
They're just trying to get by. It's true, right? We all go through that phase just after college where you're like, wait a minute,
You didn't know
everything that's wrong with me is because of you. And then you get a little older than that and you go like, we're all just doing our best. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm at that. Once I've had my first child, my only child, she was born 4 years ago. And I think when she came, I started saying, okay, well, maybe, I mean, they're assholes, but they're not as big of assholes as I thought they were.
You're suddenly trying to figure things out in terms of parenting, and you go like, oh yeah,
So
this is hard.
I'll send them some gifts.
Yeah, now we're both like, I'll text him. I gotta call my mom after this.
So you're home in the house and you're like relaxing, right? You're streaming something on TV, right?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
Savannah knocks on your door, do you let her move in?
Oh my God, no. I feel like I'm so cold. I'm like, let her in. She's not getting past the gate. That sounds so mean. I would like to help people that are in trouble by calling the police. Stay where you are. I'll call the police and we'll get you help outside of the premises. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go too deep into the show because I want people to be able to figure these things out on their own. But she's a walking red flag. Like she's a walking red flag.
I know, but you see how there's a lot of play on like, this idea of also people in retirement, then they suddenly don't know what to do with themselves. So we're watching the parents go through that. And again, having adult kids, like, I'm sure I've sort of watched my parents go through this cycle of you have kids and they're your whole life for 18 years, 20 years, however long. And then those people become adults who are like, I gotta go, bye. Like I think that's where we're catching these parents kind of being like, our kids don't need us so much anymore. And there's some other family drama that people are trying to ignore. Mm-hmm. So when this person comes in that wants to give them a lot of attention and sort of be like that surrogate child, they're really excited for the warmth.
Your characters are so different. Ruth from Glow is nothing like Amy, right? This is why I like watching your work so much. What do you like? What is your favorite? What is your favorite, like the dream situation for you?
Like, as in a role?
As a role.
I mean, I just like to be surprised and try different things. But it's easier said than done, because you play a certain type of role and then people go, oh, well, you could do that role well. So then the things that come in your direction are similar. So I don't know. I think I just always like to change it up. And this show was a great opportunity to do that because I do think Amy is like really outside the box of other characters I've played. But also it's just about changing it up, whether it's genre or like, just working with different people I'm excited about. Like this was really exciting to do a sort of mystery drama because I haven't really done that before.
You write, you direct, you act, you sing too. Is an album coming?
No album. No, I don't think so. The singing is like a hobby. Singing is a fun hobby that's for myself.
It seems like it would be natural because you went to an arts college and you grew up, in your words, a hippie family?
Yeah. They used to be more hippie-ish when I was younger. I don't think they're that hippie-ish anymore.
Did they grow to be conservative? Did they go from hippie to conservative?
I wouldn't use the C word. I wouldn't use the C word.
Not the new. I mean conservative like wear khakis and drink orange juice with breakfast. I don't mean conservative like I don't know, these fucking guys.
They still have the hippie. Yeah, thank you. No, they've got the hippie energy deep down. My parents are certainly very liberal. They've got that hippie energy. My dad is a little more old-fashioned maybe, but my mom is like, she's into her weed gummies as much as I am.
What impact did they have on your on how you approach acting?
Well, I mean, my mom has been a great inspiration to me just in her work ethic and her drive. She doesn't work in the artistic space. I mean, she's retired now, but she worked in education her whole life, but just was putting herself through school to get her master's while raising my sister and I and working, 2 jobs and just really did it all, no excuses. So that I think has had a great impact on my drive and work ethic. And then my dad is like the creative side. He's a musician. My whole life I got to watch him writing his own songs and playing and singing with him sometimes. And I think that was a really nice signal to me, sort of gave me permission to follow my dream and sort of believe that it was possible to work in an artistic field.
You worked through television and film. Is the approach different?
No.
Same amount of research, or is it?
Well, I guess sometimes in film, you have a little more time. Like everything in TV feels pretty fast. But even as the words are coming out of my mouth, I want to contradict. It's like I've worked so much in independent film, which is also like being shot out of a cannon. You know, you're like, we're going to shoot this movie in 15 days, things like that. And you have to be really creative about schedule and timing and make decisions really quickly in terms of characters. So like, ultimately, no, I think I always approach things the same way. And by that, I mean just however it goes. I don't think I have also, I'm not like, here's the manual, new role, and I start with step one in the process. I just feel like that's what's fun about what we do, is that like it's different every time inherently because the people are different, the atmosphere is different, you know, the characters are different.
It's so hard. Like I'm just trying to imagine, you know, with a film, the stakes are, it's just so high because you get one shot. Even as a writer, they're gonna clip you at 120 pages. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna clip you. But like with a show, even as a writer, with a show, you get more space and time to build the character, to work on their arc, to be able to transform. It's so you know, the film, I mean, because I know you write too, the film side of it seems so difficult. It seems more difficult.
I guess I would say, you know, when I think about film, I think the script is written, and even if you're continuing to do rewrites kind of even while you're shooting, still, you know the whole story, beginning to end. And as an actor, you can look at that full scope of the story and do your character work from there.
Right.
And in TV, as you said, it's like, well, you might only have read the first few episodes of a show, and then they're writing it as you're shooting it, and you don't know how that season's gonna end. And even if that season ends, what's gonna happen the next season? So you're like sort of shooting from the hip in a really different way, where even though you might get to do the character for much longer, for years sometimes, and then it just sinks into your bones and becomes like an innate part of you. At the same time, you're learning new things about your character almost every, you know, the writers at any moment can be like, and your sister's gonna be in the next episode, and you're like, I didn't know she had a sister.
I had a sister.
I've been playing it like she was an only child. Right. They could see it in my eyes.
You have a sister, her name's Gloria.
Yeah, totally. Who's playing her?
You work with a lot of the same people, which I think is so cool. And I think more people should like just focus on building their communities instead of trying to jump on somebody else's team. Sure. Your husband, Dave, Jeff Boehner, and your longtime friend, Danny Pudi. What is it about working for the same people? I mean, working with the same people again and again?
Well, there's just a comfort to it, definitely, of saying, I know how you work and you know how I work, and it's been going well. Let's recreate that. I mean, my husband, Dave, I mean, we'll always just talk about how we want to surround ourselves with good people. And I also think that you can get a lot of really good stuff creatively, artistically flowing when everybody feels really comfortable and good. I mean, like the same could be said. I do like how everything I say I want to immediately contradict. Like I'm sure people.
Well, it makes so much sense though.
But I'm sure people like to work in a way that's like, you're so uncomfortable, now we're getting crazy stuff. But I feel like the opposite. Like people should feel good and safe. And because you feel safe and supported, then you can take bigger risks in the work that you're doing. So I feel like that's my motto. I mean, and if I could just continue to work with the people that I love, I would be so lucky.
Anybody in the world you would love to work with, like a dream writer, dream actor, dream?
My God. I mean, Sigourney Weaver is up there for me. Put her up there in my Annette Bening. I got to check Annette Bening off the list. Nice. I mean, you know, Paul Thomas Anderson. So the list is long.
What's next for you?
Dave and I are shooting a horror movie together. We are producing it together, and we're acting in it together. So this is the first time that we've acted together in something since shooting Jeff Boehner's The Little Hours, which was, I don't know, a decade ago, maybe? Not that long ago. It was probably like 7 years ago. How many years exactly? You can Google it.
No, my wife and I work together on a lot of stuff, and it's like, for me, it's like if we get, you know, we're good at leaving work at work.
Totally, yes.
But we had to learn. We had to learn it.
I'm better at it than Dave. But we are pretty good at it. We love working together. I'm really excited to go into another project acting together.
Well, we're looking forward to it. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me.